Welcome Virgo, Ascendant Virgo Rising. This is your March 2020 video. We're going to be talking about the full moon in your sign. I'm going to give you the dates. I'm going to give you the degrees. I'm also going to re-discuss the quality, clarity, the time where your vision and your seeing and your understanding becomes more crisp. We're going to talk about the sun. We're going to talk about Neptune. And we're going to talk about the big bad full moon opposing at the very opposite end of the sun and Neptune, and what the heck that's going to mean and where it happens in your life. So let's dive into all astrology. Neptune is illusions and delusions. Neptune is the 5D realm. Neptune dissolves the 3D. So think of Neptune as the smoke from the sage, okay? If I take this, give it another whirl here, give it another light, get a little bit more smoke going. Think of the pen, right? You see the pen, you're like, okay, great, yeah, I see that. And then think about how the smoke comes into the picture. Okay, the smoke clouds it. It makes it hard to see. You can't read the lettering any longer, right? Because the smoke is there. It's veiling it. It veils the 3D world, all right? So what happens is things become confusing, okay? And Neptune's job is because Neptune wants you to be able to understand that you can perceive things one way and it may actually be another way, but to utilize your other senses, to crystallize your vision by enhancing other abilities, other tools within your body, within the vehicle that we have. Believe it or not, that seems crazy, right? So when we can't see, we up the value of our hearing, with our taste, our touch, our senses, our energetic feelings and emotions. And this is what happens, okay? The sun and Neptune literally go together. And when the sun gets on top of Neptune, this is going to be around, start thinking about this now because it'll prepare you. March 6th, March 7th, March 8th, you're going to discover that you may be quite empathic, that you may start literally feeling and merging with other folks and their emotions and what they're feeling, all right? Because this is what happens. The sun and Neptune get together. The sun is all about lighting things up. It's how we express. So other people and what they're feeling, what they're expressing, what they're emanating, you are literally starting to somehow merge with them. And this happens without us necessarily being cognizant of it. With many times when we pick up on what another is feeling, it isn't crystal clear. There are many people out there, and I might get some people on comments here, and that's great. I love to hear, and I love learning. So let me know how it is that you feel energy, because some individuals can feel it and they're very clear. They understand this is not mine. This is such and such's. Some people have that and don't even know how they know. They just know. They know it's so-and-so's and this is what it is. Others, it becomes a little confusing. We have to learn to decipher, is this mine or is this theirs? And the more complex your chart is, the more complex that is, because you're dealing with lots of energies simultaneously. It's always not clear cut. And it's not about a negative. It's not about, you're crazy, you're this because you can't do this way. And there's no clear cut one way for anybody, all right? Everybody is special. Everybody is specific. The whole point of all of it, the best understand yourself, right? That is, if we all did that, then we would all get along so much better, because that great understanding of self leads to so much greater understanding for the other. Because in truth, we all have every sign somewhere in our chart and somewhere in our life. The sun on top of Neptune. It's a time of great awareness, a time when others' feelings are merging into ours. I liken the Neptune/Piscean energy as the chameleon. Chameleon gets into a spot and it automatically kind of morphs into that location. It blends in. That is Neptune, the great blender. So what will be happening is this, it's a great energy for chipping in without looking to get something in return. Because you really feel when there's who has a need, or if there's others in your life who are trying to touch in, okay, and you feel like you understand them in a way you never did before. And so if they have this great desire or need, right, and or trying to accomplish something, there's this, okay, I'll pitch in, because Piscean energy is we are all one. What I do to myself, I do to you. What I do to you, I do to myself. All right? That's the thing about the Piscean energy, is learning to set up boundaries. So at this time, because there's an overwhelming amount of this energy, an imbalance, so to speak, it's a perfect energy for charity, right? It's a great energy where you can go and volunteer. So let's go into this for you deeper, Virgo, and find out where this is happening in your life so that you can better understand. You can almost have maybe not an expectation, but when it occurs, you can be like, okay, this is that. So for Virgo ascendant, Virgo rising, your Piscean energy obviously would be in your 7th house, right? Because Virgo and Pisces are exactly opposing one another. If Virgo's on the ascendant, that puts Pisces on the descendant. This is your significant one-on-one relationships. These relationships could be partnerships in terms of business as well as marriage, all right? It can also simply be partnerships with folks where you are committed in some way, shape, or form, okay? It doesn't have to be, where you've signed something, but you're just committed, right? You just have that deep connection. Everybody, well, I shouldn't maybe say everybody, but at one time or another in everyone's life, I think they bond with people, they hook up with people, and whether they actually ever get married or whether they actually become business partners, there's just like this camaraderie, there's this understanding, there's this compromising, because that's 7th house, that place in our life where we are willing to compromise for somebody else. So when you see that you're willing to do that with somebody, this is really someone's in that 7th house bucket for you. So it is in areas of folks that you are very close with that you're going to be feeling them, okay, intimately, right? Doesn't have to be sexually when I say that. That's not what intimate means. Just means very closely, okay? So it's really emphasis on emotions. It's emphasis on what they're feeling. Now, because it's a Virgo full moon that's chasing this, right? Literally, the Virgo full moon happens on the 9th of March. That would put the Sun and Mercury over here, okay, in Pisces energy. And then we've got at the other end this big full moon, right? And it's in Virgo. When we have a Virgo full moon, that typically means elevation of emotions in general, but also elevations in our physical body, right? So it could be a time, especially because it's opposing Neptune and the Sun, all right? Neptune in particular, Neptune and the Sun together, when we combine those two, it is a sensitivity in general with our physical body to substances, okay? Because it kind of takes on the Mars and Neptune. When they hook up, when they're squaring, it's as though Neptune can dissolve our physical body. Well, the Sun is the strength of the physical body. It is the vitality of the physical body, all right? And so it is the gasoline, it's the energy for the physical body. So when you have Neptune and the Sun together at that same time, there could be resistance, lowered resistance to any substances. So definitely keep this in mind, because at that full moon, moon opposing all of that, it also could trigger allergies. So think about that, okay? Allergies to food, allergies to liquids, whatever, beverages. So keep all of these things in mind, because Virgo represents our health, okay? One of the things I wanted to talk about, dark time before the light time, right? The darkest time is typically right before the sun rises. All right. Now, your Virgo energy, okay, is your ascendant, and that's where the full moon happens. When the full moon happens on the ascendant and it's opposing all that 7th house stuff, there is a time where you may feel discouraged, emotionally discouraged about self, because that's where the moon's happening, in your 1st house. Find out the degrees of where your 1st house stuff is, because it's possible you can be a Virgo ascendant and the 19 degrees and 37-minute full moon could possibly be in your 12th house. So really find that out for yourself. And if you have your chart, you can figure it out. If you don't have your chart, just punch your data in below. One of the things I wanted to specify about having that moon in Virgo is the discouragement part. Feelings really being bruised, and feeling communications that you hear from others, right? Because your sensitivities on many levels is heightened, all right? So understand that and don't take things so personal. This is key. Delay your responses, delay your emotions by a minimum of 24 hours, and you'll see what a big difference this makes, because the moon moves pretty fast and the sun moves pretty fast. So after that date, you're going to see the moon's going to start moving and the sun's going to start moving. They're going to be getting further away from opposing each other, and at the same time, they're both going to be getting further away from Neptune. So there will be an ease that you'll feel. All right. Now, of course, depending upon other things in your chart, those are also have to be taken into consideration. All right. You can never discount your own personal chart. What I'm talking about is the general energies. These are the transits. Okay, because the transit affects all of us. It is being able to take the transiting energy and then also taking the personal energy of your own grid, your own chart, and combining that knowledge together to get a clearer picture of the whole picture. So Virgo Ascendant, Virgo Rising, remember this is happening in your 1st and your 7th house, and I hope that this has helped put some light on your path.